G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game of Age of Empires 4. Today we're back on Highview for an Age of Empires 4 ranked battle. We got two Conqueror 3 players here. They're of course on the rank ladder and they are undoubtedly going to give us a match today, that is for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a casted game. A pleasure to have your company here today. Let's introduce the players for you. South of the map in the color teal playing as the Knights Templar, it's Faichan. And on the north of the map, in the color green, playing also as the Knights Templar, we've got Ranked Opponent. Now, I wonder who the Ranked Opponent could possibly be. There's a couple of people playing with this name at the moment. I know that Corvinus 1 has been playing with this name. I know that Beastie has been playing with this name. So I'm gonna, we'll just leave it out there right now. I'm not sure which one it could be, but I'll just let you know right now. It's a good player. You're guaranteed to get a Conqueror 3 no matter how you go. But let's talk a little bit about this matchup, about what we can expect, because this matchup is, well, it's a Knights Templar mirror. But I want to just say right now, I think that this matchup, and I suspect for most people you'll feel the same way, this is going to be a more enjoyable mirror matchup than any other mirror matchup that there is. Okay, there is nothing worse than watching like a Malian mirror match where all they spam are javelin throwers at each other. And the reason why I think this matchup is going to be a lot more fun, the best mirror by far, is simply because you get to choose units different from your opponent. Well, it's not always going to be different, right? Like, I suspect eventually it will get to the point where people have kind of worked out the sieve and they've gone, okay, well, you know what? We think the Kingdom of France is the best, or the Principality of Antioch is the best for the feudal age. And then you just see 95% of players always choosing that. Okay, already we start to see it, right? In the sense that you don't really see this one that much yet. You know, maybe that's the sleeper OP one. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is that there's going to be differences when it comes to people's playstyles. There's going to be differences to the units that they pick. And because of that, I think we're likely to see quite a bit of variation in this mirror matchup. So already we see Ranked Opponent going to be going for Kingdom of France for his early age up. It's going to be quite a quick one as well here. Looks around the 3-minute mark indeed. Over on the other side, Faichan going to be doing the same thing. So this was sort of my theory. When I got my hands on this expansion for the first time and I started playing this civilization, initially I was like, okay, well, I can see what you'd want to do with all of these, right? Like there's a reason why you'd want to take all of these, but I felt by far the Kingdom of France gave you a lot more in the sense that when we think about what this civilization wants to do, the Knights Templar, right? Now, don't get me wrong, we're going to be ignoring the fact that there is a second TC possibility here that you can do with this civilization, or a third TC possibility that we've seen with this civilization, but we'll ignore that and just say from the outset, right? Like, typically this civilization is going to want to play around pilgrims. And if we're thinking about defending pilgrims, or at least trying to keep pilgrims safe, or at least the routes that pilgrims travel, then there is really no better option than the Kingdom of France. You could go for Knights Hospitaller, get a little bit of healing on your pilgrims. You could go for the Principality of Antioch and get a whole bunch of your your sergeants out, which are quite a fun unit to play around with. However, I can't help but feel like the mobility that you get from the Kingdom of France just makes so much sense. I'm curious to see where these guys go in the Castle Age, whether we have a double Genoa, because that definitely, I mean, I think it's been a combination of like Genoa versus Angevin. Definitely feel like, to me, the big ones. The only issue that I've got with the Genituas is just that their damage is just so low. Like, you've got to be really microing them absolutely every second, otherwise you're not getting value from them. And of course, you know, the extra damage from the sacred sites, for anyone who's not aware of what I'm talking about here, Castile, Genoa in the Castle Age. So you get the nice little bit of damage bonus, but then of course, to fight around sacred sites, there is a way that your enemy doesn't always have to fight you on those sacred sites, right? If they know that you've got that, then they can look to avoid that. But we do now start to see Ranked Opponent is going to be moving out across the map with the first of the cavalry pieces. At the same time, by the side of Faye, we'll check in with her and see how she's doing. So for the moment, it doesn't look like she's got any cav out just yet. In fact, hasn't even queued up a cav. There we go. Finally now just getting our first cav queued up. She went into Professional Scouts. Professional Scouts not dead, at least not yet. There you go. That's been a while since we've seen it, and it has been absolutely nerfed out the wazoo. I'm just going to readjust. Give me a second here. You might hear some plonking and bonking around with my my microphone here. The other thing to note is we've got split colors, or not split colors, but very close colors. So apologies in advance for this game, because it is going to be the entirety of this game. We will be watching it with these colors. Of course, I could try and split them across or get them over to, you know, red, blue, but then it just makes it so much harder. I feel like we really lose out a lot. Maybe, you know what if we split halfway? Would you guys mind if we, you know, like around the halfway mark, we just decided, okay, let's change it over. Let's change over the colors. But so far, number advantage comes through. And the reason why is because I feel like early on, right, like line of sight means a lot, okay? Knowing exactly what Faye knows, what ranked opponent knows, this is important stuff. We need to know exactly what they know to try and determine how they're going to play, or more importantly, why they are playing a certain way. So, by the way, outpost on the gold, that's a good sign. It's probably going to be a castle age. If you don't have that line of sight, if you don't have that knowledge, it makes it a lot harder. And we can't do that. I'm trying to remember if I've got a button for it. Let me try and hit this button here. Nope, that didn't work. I don't know if I've got a button for it. I might, maybe this button. Nope, that did. Okay, I'm just kind of pressing buttons at the moment. Nothing's working. What about this one? Nope, that did not work. Okay. How about this one? Nope. Nope. All right. I guess we're not. I guess these are the colors that we're keeping. The enter is the default hotkey, but for enter that's to remove. Actually, what does enter do? I hear it doing something, but it's not doing anything. That's a bit strange. Anyway, outpost on the front. And interestingly, we do have we got the gold on the front for Faye versus the gold on the back for ranked opponent. So a little bit of a difficult spawn here for Faye, but for the moment, she's managed to hold it for at least for the current situation. Now, interestingly, we do have a bit of a transition into archers coming out for ranked opponent. Now, keep in mind, you're not really going to be able to do a whole lot with archers other than deny spears from your opponent here. But you don't really get value out of this right now. Faye can just keep making chevaliers, and because of that, because she can just keep making and keep spamming those chevaliers, you're going to have to transition into spears if you want to actually contest the chevalier mass that will inevitably come, that will inevitably rise in this game from Faye. But slowly bringing in the deer. Now, interestingly, we don't see any of the players going for safe passage. Neither of them has said, you know what, we don't have the ability to get that safe passage yet. And because of that, they've very much just focused full on military early on. Well, with the exception of Faye, obviously going into something a little bit more, a little bit unorthodox here on this patch in this season. Siege engineering going to be coming through for ranked opponent. And I wonder who ranked opponent could possibly be. Sure, you know, we've seen Faye take out some big names recently. We saw her take down Louis. Will she take out ranked opponent? It could be the best player in the game right now. Just saying, could be. Watch out, guys. We have been known to cast a beastie game before. Perhaps even a beastie loss. Watch out. But we'll have to see how she manages to do this game, because I tell you what, she's going to have, whether or not it's Corvinus, whether or not it's beastie, I'm sure we're going to be in for an absolute treat of a game here. So let's check in and see how ranked opponent is doing on that north side of the map. Double battering ram now going to be coming through. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a second stable. Have we got a second stable? We've got a second stable. Okay. But I think I just saw that, and then I just kind of, it went into my temporary memory, and then I just brought that back in. Yeah, I will just say right now, I've also, just to give you guys a bit of background information, I've recently, I've like mixed around my setup a little bit. So I've moved my PC into the bathroom, so that way I don't have to get heated up by my PC, because it gets kind of hot in here. So I just went out and bought a whole bunch of cables, and I kind of just redid my setup a little bit, and I'm kind of feeling this setup. It's kind of nice. The monitor's a little bit further back, but it's still good. It's still good. We're still good. Anyway, you can see right now that the reinforcements are going to get cleaned up by the chevaliers. These guys get a little bit of extra health considering how many chevaliers they've got nearby, so that it'll be a +3, a gentle +3. More chevalier in the base. We've got even more on the defense for Faye, so ideally she wants to wait at this situation until all of these chevaliers are together, just to get that little bit of extra health boost for them. But interestingly, you can see right now that this is a bit of trouble, I would say, for ranked opponent, because all you've got are archers. Like, I don't know why you just didn't go spears ranked opponent. I'm not sure exactly what the whole idea is going with archers, because archers are very much a counter to a unit that your opponent doesn't have yet, and they're not going to be having, because they can just get away with just making full chevaliers, because all you're doing is you're making chevaliers split with archers. It's one of those things where, to me, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but I don't know, maybe I'm just, maybe I'm still working things out over here. In my mind, I think if ranked opponent moves into a Rax, that would be a very smart play, rather than going into battering rams and then forcing fights with triple unit threat, because then your opponent has to go into archers, and you've got the upper hand because you've got the 3 units versus the 2-unit combo. But I guess there's also a world where like Knights Archer French beats Knights Archer Spearman French, so there's that also to consider. Which is an interesting thing to note. So, but I guess at the end of the day, just full Knight beats beats Knight Archer, doesn't it? And Chevalier is that, it's obviously not a Knight, but it's a pseudo Knight in a sense. Higher damage than a Horseman, higher armor than a Horseman. Substantially higher health than a Horseman. So it's definitely, you know, it's that middle ground. But charges coming through, ranked opponent on the trail. Now we still don't see safe passage coming through for either of these players. Very aggressive matchup right now for these two. I think I can hear my son. I think my son just came home. He's 2 years old, but he's already getting out on the town. He just went out for dinner with mum. And now plenty of Chevaliers coming through. Going to be able to clean up this battering ram without too much of a hassle. And I think we sort of head back to square one here because the archers have definitely failed. And I find this quite curious from ranked opponent. I'm really going to draw on that one. It's like more better doubling down. This is an interesting strategy. Maybe it's a different ranked opponent. Maybe this is not a Conqueror 3 ranked opponent. maybe it's the ranked opponent whose name didn't update and Faye got put against like the gold 2 ranked opponent. I don't want to talk shit. It's a professional. It's a professional. I'll tell you right now. He's good. He's very good. We gotta keep our shit talking in. All right. We don't want to upset him. But at the same time, though, it's a bit of a head scratcher, isn't it? Is it just me? I'm scratching my head right now. You guys scratching your head? Yeah? Okay. Good. Faye now just committing. Now, one thing to note, though, is Faye is still behind on the Chevalier count. And I suspect that's largely because of the early professional scouts. But now they're looking to dive in Chevalier on Chevalier. Reinforcement's going to be close here for Faye. 2 more now coming through. Gets a little bit of a health increase. You can see it's only a really slight amount, but I guess it does start to add up to the point where, like, if you're surviving extra archer attacks because of this, it can make a huge difference. So now 13v13 on that Chevalier number. Hopefully able to bring that last little one in. Does manage to find it. And really, it feels like we're almost watching a bit of a French mirror here, in a way. And now finally we see the spears come out. See, this is the part where it makes a lot of sense to me. Because normally, like, when you're watching French mirrors, normally it's knights, full knights, heaps of knights, and then the guy who starts losing with knights has to go into spears. But then he has to start playing defensively. So he can drop like a second TC if he wants to. And then you can't really attack him because he's got spears. And you don't want to fight against spears. So then that other guy goes castle. It's a long process. This is not a matchup that we're watching right now. But the interesting thing is that the Chevaliers should still be able to pick up these spears, at least until you start double raxing. Because we can see them out now on the reinforcements. We'll be able to find that single spear. As long as you're able to pick off that one spear right there, that's all you want. Boom. Beautifully done, Faye. Absolutely knew exactly what she needed to do. Pick off the single spear, and that's it. Like, it's one less spear that you now have to worry about when the next big fight happens. One less spear, and when you think about it, that one extra spear is the spear that is always going to be staying alive the longest. If we think about it from the perspective of if you've got 5 spears, and that was your 6th spearman, then that spearman's always going to be the last one that you kill. It's always going to be the spearman with the most damage, because it's always going to be the last one that's left. That's the way I always like to think about it. So getting those are really, really nice. No looking at any potential age ups here either. More archers coming through. Spearman numbers done well. Ranked opponent done well to realize, okay, I got to keep these bad boys at home. Now, does Faye spot these out? She's got the scout with the enemy group of spears, or rather with the Chevaliers. But now, once again, coming in for reinforcements. She's playing so well. I tell you what, Faye is looking incredibly competent on these ladders these days. I remember back in the day, it felt like every game that we'd cast would be a Faye loss. And, you know, she'd get so close, but then at the end, she'd just fall a little bit short. But she's been looking really good. I guess she's been knuckling down. She's been playing a lot recently. So this is good to see. She's in great form at the moment. Hopefully, EGC's tournament, next STR tournament's coming up. I hope she throws her hat in the ring there and looks to really put on a show. Because I tell you what, I mean, the likes of Louis MT are going to have trouble, that's for sure. First of the Pilgrims now on the map. We do see it's going to be 120 gold for Faye coming in, so not quite the max just yet. Nice control. Chevalier group to the south and the north. Have a look at the difference. 29 versus 17 now. Now she's really started to boom ahead. There are 9 spears on the map, and that is difficult. If you can isolate them, it's fine. But if you're fighting against them, at the same time as fighting the Chevaliers, you're going to need archers. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see rangers or Nope, she's just going ham. And we see a fortress coming up. Have a look at this fortress. Bit of a weird position on this fortress, but hey, we'll take it. Very strange, though. She does have enough in the bank, almost enough to get the town center down. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing like 2 TC fortress in feudal age. That could be a thing. And now moving forward, charge. Just gonna pull back at the last second. More units coming around the back. She's gonna try and fight under the fortress. Keep in mind, you do get a little bit of extra range units, or range on your units if you're a ranged unit. But now, majority of spears back here. We've got 5 over this side. Over here, we've got only the 1. Battering ram's gonna start doing their work, and you can see the longer that she stays out from fighting, the more work these battering rams do. I'd almost be tempted to pull villagers here just so I could siege down these rams. You get a lot of value from those villagers, but yeah, getting taken out on that backside. Meanwhile, towards the front, we can see the numbers starting to look a little bit sour for her. She's down to 24 on the Chevalier count. And now, stable goes down. Second stable going to become focused here. Quite a lot of battering rams still up at the moment. 4 battering rams. The question is, where do they go from here? It looks like they're going to rotate down to the stable, still underneath the town center. Probably wants to avoid hitting that fortress. We do still have textiles to pick up if we want to try and contest these with villagers, but she's going to try under the town center to hold once again. And now away back towards the fortress. No sign of an age up coming through yet for either player, though ranked opponents arguably relatively close. A lot of wood starting to stack up in the bank. Might be thinking about maybe a few battering rams or more, but the number's still looking good. Up to 13, 12 spearmen, 15 archers. Very nice rounded combo. Exactly what we needed to see. Just a little bit late with it, that's all. But in the end, able to get there. And now taking out all of the houses. If we take a look at the house number that you've got, Face hitting at 75 out of 50, she's going to need to be rushing up these houses, and she's got no villagers on wood at the moment, so she's really starting to struggle with 1,500 gold in the bank. Might need to think about dropping a market. She's got more pilgrims heading out. Maybe just even bringing a couple villagers over onto the wood might help her. But the majority of the forces have been whittled down by her troops, by her town center. And now she's looking to try and finally clean up this mess. You can see the number of spears has really started to fall, and now she thinks she can commit. Now she thinks the town center's been able to do enough work here. The ranked opponent has fallen back enough, and indeed, I think she's made the right call. She did a great job in holding until this point. I would have jumped the shark way earlier, dude. I would have been out here with the villagers. I would have been sieging down the battering rams. I would have lost like 46 villagers. Dude, she's lost 0. She has lost 0. 0 villagers lost. Okay, granted, she lost quite a bit of building, quite a bit of infrastructure in here, but it's not like you're playing the best civilization in the game at gathering wood. Oh yeah, you are. The Knights Templar. How could I forget? No more units in queue for either player. Did they both agree? Like, did they both just type messages like, hey, you want to go castle? Yep. Okay, cool. See you there. And that's just it. They both realize at the same time. We got the Angevin Empire coming through for heavy spearmen. What's Faye going to go for? I'm hoping she goes for Republic of Genoa. I love the heavy crossbow. I also love the heavy spearmen. I'll take either of them. I'll take either of them. Town center's still idle, by the way. So she's still sitting at 50. Does she not realize? Oh, no, she does. She's dropped the houses down. There we go. 64. She's got enough to age up now. She's cancelled it. And what does she go for? She's accidentally rung the bell. She goes for Angevin Empire as well. No, she's cancelled it. Kingdom of Castile. No way. Interesting decision. The Kingdom of Castile in this matchup. And I think this is what makes this matchup more fun, right? The fact that it is a mirror, and yet now a whole different suite of units are going to be on the field for both of these players. Because we've got to think about it a little bit more contextually. If you've got access to the heavy spearmen, well, you're obviously going to be pumping those bad boys out, but now you need a unit to pair it with. What's going to go well with the heavy spearmen? Maybe some archers, maybe a mangonel, maybe a whole bunch of chevaliers and Templar brothers. That could be an option for you. And now you compare that to the Kingdom of Castile, where you've got a ranged javelin throwing mounted unit. What are you going to pair that with? I don't know. Good luck. Good luck, Faye. I'm curious to see how she goes with it, though, because obviously she's been improving in skill quite a bit lately. Let's see if she's improved with regard to that strategy as well, because I'm excited to see whether or not she can make this stick. She could just be looking to pick it up just because of the Sacred Site bonus. And maybe it's just that her opponent, her ranked opponent, isn't going to be taking that and then, you know, looking to try and fight around the sacred sites wherever possible. Maybe even looking to try and play for a sacred victory, forcing your opponent to come to you on the sacred sites. That could be a way to play it. So we'll have to wait and see whether that is going to be her goal. whether that's going to be her plan. But yeah, I'm curious to see how she makes to look this work. Now, we do see upgrades on the way for her as well. So the +2 damage for the cavalry charge. That'll be nice. And heavy spearmen now coming out. And this is sort of where it gets a bit interesting because the heavy spearmen are going to do very well. I love these units just simply because they're set and forget, right? Like, you just get a whole bunch of heavy spearmen out and then you just, you know, alt tab and go browse Reddit for a little bit and you come back in and the enemy's resigned because your spearmen killed everything. Sorry, your heavy spearmen killed everything. It's because they're heavy spearmen. Whereas, like, if you think about the Genitua, not so much. Not so much. But I suspect it could be that bonus that she was looking for. Vil's back behind here. She's got the wall up. Now, what does ranked opponent know? Ranked opponent doesn't know a whole lot about this area, so probably not going to find it, especially because you're in the stealth forest. And by the way, Knights Templar are so good on this map. The primary reason being you don't need lumber camps, which means you can just take these stealth forests and no one's ever going to find you. You're fine gathering this up, and you just move one Vil out to each tree. You're going to be out here forever. That is lovely. Great call by both of these players to recognize that. But we do have the pilgrims now starting to move out towards the central sacred site. We've got 3 of them so far, so safe passage as well as sanctuary on the way through. First of the fortresses are up. Second fortress now going to come down on this south side on top of the stone, on top of the gold. And this is one of my theories with this civilization is all of the raiding infantry comes in on the bottom side. My theory is that stone is going to be an especially important resource for this civilization in the late game. And with other civilizations, you're often looking to secure the large gold veins, where I think that this civilization is probably going to focus a little bit more on securing stone. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing some fortresses dropped out a little bit more aggressively here, even potentially on this stone. All right, towards the north, though. Faye going to come out here. She's also got that healing coming through near the sacred site. Keep that in mind. I don't actually know how much the healing is. Is it one max health? No, 1 health every second. So it's a decent amount of healing that's coming through. But ranked opponent on the run here, up 10 Vils. I didn't realize we'd lost that many Vils in this game. That's quite a bit of a difference between these two. I guess there was a bit of damage done on this south side here. I don't think we're all... none of us were really paying attention down there other than the ranked opponent, who was probably paying the most attention. But now those Vils going to vacate the area. Got to be careful not to lose any more. And that's another one gone down for Faye. She's lost 10 so far this game. Immediately another villager comes out to replace it. And very strong, very steadfast. Very impressive. No heavy spears out, at least on this little army just yet. Have we got more in the north? There were, yeah, there they are. 12 heavy spears now coming out in this little quadrant, this little group, this little quartet of spears. And together with the Chevaliers, they should be easily able to clean this up. The Chevaliers now are going to get on out of here. Have a look at the numbers that these guys do. 11 spear damage with plus 25 against cavalry. Compare that to these ones, and they're 8 with 20 versus cavalry. So quite a bit more damage, quite a bit more bonus damage as well. And a fortress going to be coming up on the other side of the map. We'll try and see where it is. It's going to be up towards the north. So that's the route the ranked opponent is going to be looking to try and secure their pilgrims in this game, up towards that northern position. Of course, Faye going to be able to challenge that with the extra bonus damage as well. Now the Templar brother going to be coming out. Now keep in mind, not only are you getting that extra charge damage, you're also going to be getting that extra sacred site damage as well. So undoubtedly, Faye going to be very excited about that. But now towards that top side, we see the second town center coming down. She spots this, and now she can make her own call. Okay, am I going to throw down a second town center? Of course I am, because I already was. These two are pretty well met. I will say right now, like, these guys are matched up pretty damn closely. Castle Age, they both agreed to do it at the same time. Second town center, they both agreed to do that. Villager's going to get caught out here. Oh, I tell you what, that could have been good. Oh, that could have been... Oh, Faye made a bit of a mistake there. We'll let her off. Wow, that could have been very that could have been very dangerous right there. Vils brought in. The moment they get to here, you hit the Wallalol at the gate. And I tell you what, you're going to have a whole lot of problems. But at the end of the day, it's still a win for her, I think. She's going to be feeling very good about the way this game is going so far, denying that fortress from this northern sacred site and guaranteeing her success, at least in the north, for a little bit longer. She's now broken in behind those walls, and once again, those villagers are going to be on the move. They're going to have to go out the other side of the wall here, but at the same time, it could be a bait. It could be a bait. Ranked opponent going to be looking to try and get up the next keep. Pilgrim's going to be caught out of position. Sieging down the outpost, able to find it. First one makes it. Second one also... Oh, they all fall down at the last second. They all fell down at the last second. They were so close to making it. Unfortunately, not going to be able to find it. And now up towards the north, the relic gets dropped. It's a 2-1 split at the moment. It was a 3-1 split not too long ago. Chevalier is going to be breaking through in Wait, were these Chevaliers the same Chevaliers that were just chilling out before? I think they might be. And now behind the scenes, looking to try and cause a bit more problems. Let's switch it over to income per minute. We're 25 minutes into this game. We might as well damn well do it. Income's not that crazy, as you'd expect for a game where there's been quite a few villager losses already. Second town center's quite delayed as well. What was it? 23 minutes second TC, somewhere in that region. So it's definitely taken its time. Mate, anybody interested in a third TC? Why not? She scouted the second TC. I feel like you can 100% get away with a third TC. I'd love to see the times for how quick it takes a town center to pay off for the Knights Templar compared to a normal civilization, assuming that you're putting all of your villagers on wood. But you can see Pilgrims getting taken out now, getting focused down. Managed to make it to the sacred site in time. Second Pilgrim, the Pilgrim did go down. You can see that was a pretty nice sound effect. Poor Pilgrim. I think that's the first time I've heard that sound effect, or at least paid attention to that sound effect. That was not a... It was not a lively Pilgrim. It was a deadly Pilgrim. It was a dying Pilgrim. Let's go with that one. More units moving to the south. Have we got another? Yeah, we got another fortress. And you can see the fortress spamming is really coming up. I mean, you're really incentivized as this civilization to spam fortresses. Because there is that economic component, that lasting economic component. Each one that you put down is essentially 3 villages that you're getting. The equivalent of 3 villages, especially if you start to stack up the bonuses. I mean, that's 90 gold, so that's not a huge amount. But this one down to the south, once you start talking about treasure towers as an upgrade, if we take a look and see, yeah, treasure towers is still available on the side of our ranked opponent. That's going to be another 20% increase. And assuming that that's a 130, which it almost certainly will be down here, you're talking about 169 gold coming in every single minute. And that's going to be a huge amount of gold. So one of the things I'd love to see Faye do, oh, never mind, she doesn't need to do it. I was going to say wall off the top side of your base so your pilgrims come down to the bottom. Because you don't want them to be going around the top. You want them to coming around the bottom. And Faye doing a wonderful job here of just trying to pick off her enemy at any place that she can. But I think this is one of those interesting things where it's like, yeah, you've gone into heavy spearmen, but what value are your heavy spearmen if you can't actually catch the cavalry? At least a spearman is a little bit faster, right? If we look at the statistics, there's no spears out at the moment, but they've got a base of 1.25 movement speed. And that goes up when they're charging to 1.44, if I remember correctly. Whereas here, you're going, oh no, never mind. You're going from 1.12 to 1.44, so it goes from 1.25 to 1.56 maybe? It wouldn't go to 1.66. That'd be way too fast. I'm going to go with 5.6, 1.56. When you're charging with a spearman. But I guess the point is, look how far behind these guys are. Like, these... Man, I gotta change my mind about these units. This is... I mean, maybe Faye's just demonstrating how to play around them, right? Like, if you keep your opponent in their base, and you're constantly forcing them to run around in circles, you can just outrun the heavy spears. I think the worst case scenario is if ranked opponents started sending spears to the base of Faye. That would be a massive problem. By the way, Faye now here, 156 gold coming through. So that's going to be that Treasure Towers bonus coming through. 156 gold, 5 of these, which means 750 gold per minute coming through from these pilgrims. A huge amount of gold. A massive amount of gold that's now coming through. So she's going to be super happy with that. Now we start to see more fortresses getting put down. A little bit of a safe defensive fortress towards the backside. Both players looking to keep on adding them. How many are we at? We're at 3 fortresses for Faye. This will be the second fortress for ranked opponent, but looks like the cleanup crew's finally going to get it, but unfortunately, right on time, she's back again with some brand new vans. Faye doing it once again. Phil's going to run into the wall alone, not going to be able to find it. Picking up the heavy spear. You can see it's doing some damage. Doing some heavy spear damage. But I think Faye's... Look at the Vil difference. She's done an incredible job at keeping that Vil count down, but at the same time working on her own... 4 town centers. 4 town centers. That's how confident she is. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. She is really pushing this Civ to the limit, but you want to know? I feel like she's just not getting punished. Have we once seen her get punished for doing this kind of stuff? I mean, we've only watched a couple games, but still, it's just like... It's kind of impressive, the fact that she's able to get so many units out onto the field consistently. What's her farming economy looking like? Can we have a look? I tell you what, 28 vills on food. That's a huge amount of villagers on food. That's incredible. I tell you what, she's one to watch. I'm telling you right now, man. She is scary. This is a good amount of vills that are coming out here. Look at the vill difference, 102 versus 65. She's taking a 40 vill lead right now at 29 minutes into this game. That is massive. Towards the north, Fortress does have the boiling oil coming in. It's going to be another 50 seconds. More reinforcements are coming. Heavy spears are on the way, so I don't think you're going to be able to really push this agenda too much further. I suspect this fortress will most likely live. Meanwhile, towards the back of the base, the raids still continue, and I think that ranked opponent has finally picked up the idea of, hey, maybe I should use my spears, my heavy spears, to defend objectives, and use my fast cavalry to chase raiding units. And I think that's a wonderful idea. You can see just how much they struggle here. It really feels like all of the heavy spearmen have just eaten a little bit too much for lunch, and they're all just a little bit tired. You know when you eat too much for lunch and you're like, man, I need to sleep. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Sometimes I eat too much food. You know, it's one of the things that I worked out the first time I had Ozempic. It was like, I remember the feeling of my brain telling me that I was full. And it was like after like 2 pieces of pizza. And I was like, what is this feeling? I've never felt this in my life, dude. Is this what it feels like to not be fat? It's kind of crazy, man. Like, your body's just like, nah, dude, I gotta cut you off here. These guys have not been hitting the Ozempic. Let's just put it that way. Somebody call, I don't even know, who do you have to call to get Ozempic? You call your doctor, boys. I'm actually gonna drop the heavy spearmen down a tier in my head. I don't think they're as good now, just simply because of what we've seen. We've seen, like, Faye just really demonstrate how to abuse and how to use these guys. Like, it is just, yeah, it's a sad state of affair to be a heavy spearman. I guess, realistically, what else? What are the other bonuses that you get from the Angevin Empire? Hold on, we already got Imperial Age coming through. I say already, I mean, we're 31 minutes into the game. We're going for the Kingdom of Poland, so she's looking to really play into, we'll have to check in the name of the unique unit, the Schlachta? I apologize. It'll take a while. So let's take a look at this bonus and see exactly what she's going to be picking up. So the Kingdom of Poland's going to be giving all of her cavalry 10% extra health and 50% extra charge damage. Now keep in mind earlier she got the Templar Brother charge upgrade, and on top of that she's already got the Kingdom of France, which gives, actually no, that doesn't do anything, but she's got the Chevalier, which gets bonus health from nearby units, and then she's getting 10% on that, so she's really looking to stack these bonuses as much as she possibly can. Chasing away a couple of villagers right now. Gotta be careful, Faye. Gotta be careful, don't get pincered. And the age up comes through. She's immediately looking for elite upgrades. Elite Chevalier, elite Templar Brothers, and Spyglass. Exactly what you should be looking for the moment you age. Why is she getting Spyglass, though? For real, why is she getting Spyglass, dude? Never have I once seen a person age up and then be like, Spyglass, click, immediately. Like, roller shutter triggers, got it. Elite upgrades, got him. Spyglass, yep, it's there. It's done. All right, here she goes. Faye now. Under pressure. All of the pilgrims moving out towards this position. That's a huge army, by the way. Imperial Age. I mean, the timing here is good for ranked opponent, but the problem is the upgrades are about to come through. So he wants to push the issue. We know that. But the trouble is she's waiting for these elite upgrades. And the moment they come through, the situation is going to be dire. The upgrades have arrived. Do we have any of that unique cavalry coming out just yet? The Lachta? The Schlachta? Okay, charge coming through. Boiling Oil also doing a little bit of work. Indeed it is. Heavy Spearman. She's in a bit of a tough spot. She's going to try and make her moment. Oh, it's tough. It's tough. Get me a little bit of this going on. There we go. Heavy spears. No, she's bringing in the wall. Oh, ain't no way. Wake up, ranked opponent. Wake up. She's all right. He's all right. They're all right. And still fighting. Well, dude, where are all the heavy spears? Heavy spears, get over here. They're getting torn apart. They're absolutely getting ripped apart. Look at the numbers that she's still got here. She's managing to bring it back. Why aren't these units dying? Hold on, why aren't these units dying? Ridiculous amounts of health. I don't even think she's got biology. She's just going full Templar, brother. She's breaking the RTS triangle. Somebody stop her. The spearmen are meant to counter. These are heavy spearmen. They're up against elite units, though. She's just got the numbers advantage. She's whittled it down with the keep. All the boiling oil is slowly worked. Dude, she just obliterated the whole army. She didn't even lose a unit. She lost, like, look at that. There's like 3 of them there. What? That was all heavy spears. Dude, my poor heavy spear. Dude, look at my poor heavy spear. Okay, I'm calling it now. Heavy spearman is getting buffed in the next patch. It just got nerfed. They're going to buff it. They got to buff it, man. It's terrible. No, I mean, they're elite units you're fighting. I mean, to be honest, you should be able to beat elite units with the veteran if it's the counter, especially a hard counter like spearman versus knight. I don't know, man. That's probably a hot take. I take it back. Speaking of taking it back, we got the Teutonic Order now coming through. Looking to take it back. Let's take a look and see exactly what you grab. So with the Teutonic Order, you'll get all gold units gaining 2 melee armor, and you'll get access to the Teutonic Knight. One of the most fearsome units in Age of Empires, that is for sure. But now breaking through. Once again, have a look at that military difference. Good luck, ranked opponent, whoever you may be. Of course, we will reveal who the ranked opponent is, but only once he is thrown in the towel. Ranked opponent now aging up. Biology on the way through as well. Knights Templar Cavalry is really something else. But I gotta tell you what, I enjoy this matchup. This is objectively, I'm not even gonna say arguably, I'm gonna say objectively the best mirror matchup by far. I mean, what is better than this when you think about it? I don't think there's a single better mirror matchup than this. Fortress comes online. Boiling Oil is through as well. Biology about to come through. 35 seconds. But at this point, she's just farming. She's farming up the farms. You can see how quickly these heavy spears go down from those big charges in the back. And now idling out the economy. Not a whole lot of resources back here for ranked opponent. A little bit of an attempt towards the north as well. Look at the resources she's got coming through. More than 6,000, probably closer to 7,000 resources per minute now starting to come through for her. A huge amount. She'll be moving up towards the north. Does she know? She thinks she knows. Let's see what she can find. She's just got an attack move route up here. There's a monastery. Meanwhile, over towards the east, more units over here. They're healing up. By the way, 446 health on the elite Templar brother. I tell you what, that is a Templar brother right there. Double fortress in the middle. I like it. I like the cut of your jib, ranked opponent. I'll say that right now. There's a bold statement, a bold move. Have a look at this pilgrim army. Dude, the army of pilgrims. They're all going to get buffed up. They're all going to be given in that extra little bit of gold from 130 going up to, what was it? 156, I want to say. Let's take a look and see. That's 20. Don't worry. There it is, 156. There we go. Meanwhile, towards the north, I don't know where all these villagers went. I suspect they've snuck out the back way. The back door, perhaps. Unfortunately, the keep's going to go down. You can see a little bit of whack-a-mole coming through. Teutonic Knight's going to come in, but they're just going to get cleaned up so quickly. Keep in mind, they've got good damage, but no damage compared to these Chevaliers and these Templar brothers. Tell you what, these are such scary units when they start going. And I think this is really what makes this civilization so much fun, is the customization, the mutual exclusivity. The mutual exclusivity, there we go, of the civilization. I remember when we were theory crafting about it, because we didn't have all the information, and I was thinking to myself, you know, they're probably going to make it so that you can go back and, like, get a commandery from anybody that you've missed out over the past, but I kind of like the fact that they didn't do that, because then that would increase or reduce the variance, and we want high variance. We want to have these unforgiving decisions, but now, marching through the Templar, oh, that's them! That's the unique cav, the first one that we've seen. Gonna reduce the damage of the opponent. There's a lot of cavalry that just kind of, it feels like they do the same thing, right? Like the Chevalier, it's a pseudo knight, not as strong as the other knights. The Templar brother, it's like a strong knight. The Slachka, the Lachkta, I've got to learn how to pronounce that. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go to Google and be like, hey, how do I pronounce this one? Yeah, it just, like, obviously it does something a little bit different, but at the end of the day, it all kind of feels the same. You know, like, you probably want to mix them in, and they cost different amounts and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, for the most part, I mean, look at this face just all over this base. There ain't no way. 99 bills, 144. She's maxed out. She's farming up. She's having a good time. We got the choo-choo train out here. The pilgrims are on the way. And that is a whole bunch of gold. That's 9 times 156. Like, that is just ridiculous, dude. That is so much gold that's coming through. That's the equivalent of like 36, 37 bills that are just coming in right there, free a pop. And I don't know whether she's reached cap. I don't think she has. I think the cap is 10. And now the cleanup has happened back here. Heavy Spearmen have managed to bring a little bit of certainty in these uncertain times. Pilgrims, unfortunately, about to get all cleaned up. Good night, sweet princes and princesses. Rest in peace. Unfortunately, the Crusades were not successful for you today, my friend. More fortresses now coming down. Or should I say going down? As I'm yelling timber. Oh, my lord, look how close this one was. A little bit doubtful, unfortunately. He was smiling today. And now these elite heavy spearmen trying to work their magic. They do 44 damage when they're attacking these cavalry units, but the elite Templar brothers don't care. They do not care at all. I mean, they do kind of care. They're getting kind of destroyed. You're getting hurt there, bud. Keep gets cancelled. Traps fire through. New fortress on the front. 16 Ville's going to be coming up to build this. She's in prime position. I love the fact that she's literally sieging down these fortresses with all of her cavalry. She's made cavalry only this whole game. She's never not made anything but cavalry. F4, F3, F2, F1. 27 stables and a siege workshop. What sieges she made? Oh, she's got triple trebs out. Wow. She only made cavalry and she won. Ooh, that's dangerous. That's kind of dangerous. Up against heavy spearmen as well. Wow. And up against, you guessed it, ladies and gentlemen, that was indeed Corvinus 1. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that game. That was a pretty damn good game. I tell you what, Faye, she is improving. Anyway, I'm going to leave links down in the description of where you can watch both of these creators, Corvinus 1 and Faye. She's obviously doing well. We'll catch you in the next one.